أنت ما اهتدينا ولا تصدقنا ولا صلينا اللهم لولا أنت ما اهتدينا.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. How is everyone doing? What's been happening? Today we are going to be waiting for someone to join and discuss salvation in Christianity. And, what's this? My parcel got delivered. And in the meantime, I think someone was asking about, gonna increase my iCloud storage. Someone was asking about, what do you call it? The thing Christians have been doing in past 2,000 years. So we're going to have a look at it and see what's up with that. Just a second. Just a second. I'm just trying to find the comment exactly where it was. And also gotta react to the video of David Wood and Apostate Prophet and how they were talking about Sam Shamoun. Before that, trying to find a couple of proper questions I got. Oh yeah, someone was asking about the texts being revolving around first and second and even up until 4th century. So there can be, it depends on your sect. However, you can always look into the Didache, the teachings of the 12 is there. The first and second Apocalypse of James are there. Gospel of Hebrews is there. There's a secret Gospel of Mark. There's a Gospel of Bartholomew. And there's a Gospel of Nicodemus. There's a Gospel of Pseudo Matthew. And we have discussed the Proto-Evangelium of James. The book of James is there. The Apocalypse of Peter is there. If I'm forgetting any, both Thomases are there. The Logia and the Infancy Gospel of Thomas. There's an Apocryphon of James. There is, what else was there? The Shepherd of Hermas is there too. So yeah, those things, you can look into them. Okay, let's do simple Google searches for all of these and we'll see how things shape up. Cancel this. And share the screen. And yes, we're gonna react to the video of Apostate Prophet with David Wood against Sam Shimon about the wife beating and this and that, whatever. Alrighty. Let's start with 1096. So I think it's on your screen. This one would be referring to a massacre against Jews in that region, in those cities. Let's do these 1,000 years first, and then we'll do from 300 to 1,000. Let's do 1,000 to 2,000 first. Okay, this is the first one. Second one. Let's do 1182, and we're gonna look into all of these articles from extremists, from secular people, and critical scholarship. So this one would be second one. Here we go. So this is April of 1182. Massacre of the Latins occurred in Constantinople, capital of Byzantine Empire. Eastern Orthodox population of the city, driven by intense resentment of the Roman Catholic Latin inhabitants. Okay, so that's two. Let's do third. The Catharist heresy. That would be 1206, I guess, or 1208, something like that. $1208. Okay. That's the third one. And all of this, I'm not going to go to the cliches of religion burning women. The religion which have, the history of marrying half sisters and lying to kings about it, or sleeping with their own daughters, or Isaac marrying Rebecca at 3, or Mary getting pregnant at 12, or even Christians burning women, let alone marrying or doing all these things. But burning a woman and leaving her family, God knows how many kids and orphan, and what life they had after that is, beyond imagination. But we're not going to go into that. We're going to go into some heavy hitters today. Okay, so this is the Catharist heresy. It's a Christian movement in southern France and northern Italy. Roman Catholic Church deemed heretical. Okay, it was a pivotal turning point marked by the assassination of a papal legate, brutal crusade to eradicate a sect. Okay. Oh, did I share the screen? Yes, I did. Let's do 1233. Okay, so we're done with 3 extremely embarrassing one. This is the fourth one. I hope you can see it. And this one reads, in 1233, Pope, okay, no one else, Pope Gregory the Ninth, launched the Papal Inquisition by sending Dominican friars to France to suppress the heresy, which was seen as a threat. The move aimed to formalize the prosecution of heresy, bringing a more standardized and legalistic approach than earlier, more haphazard episcopal inquisition. Okay? So this is basically saying that we are right and anyone else with a brain is wrong. And don't think that. And this one's actually, you can go on and on about this, about the punishment of the heretics and stuff like that. It's pretty bad. So we are done. We have done 1096, 1182, 1208, 1233. I'm missing a few in the middle just to keep it like 2-3 per century, to keep it colorful. Here we go. Let's do this. This is number 5. Okay. All right. Siege of the Catharas stronghold of this ended in March of 1244. Approximately 200 to 220 were burned at the base of the mountain for refusing to renounce their faith. Which faith, guys? Christian faith. People who believed that Jesus came, was crucified, and was risen from the dead to atone for the sins of humanity. Those Christians who were headed for salvation, those were burned at stake. Okay? This one has, at least I've read in 60 to 61 articles. This is a very properly documented event. Okay, moving on. Let's go to, let's do one more of 13th century, and then we'll move on to 14th century. And then after we're done, if you guys want a few more, I can give you a few more. All right, let's do this. Here we go. 1290. Look at this, guys. I hope you can see this, as England is still under the Church of England, and it was the largest empire, one of the largest empires in the history of our planet, and they ruled under Christian faith. Okay. In 1290, King Edward of England expelled the entire Jewish population from England, following a pattern of rising anti-Semitic sentiment and economic factors. France, in a similar vein, underwent multiple expulsions, with a major one occurring in 1306, followed by another one in 1394, which is considered the last major expulsion from France in the Middle Ages. So this is one of the lifelong Christian missions of going against Jewish people for what they did to Jesus Christ. Okay. Let's do 1310. I'm skipping a couple of them. Here we go. This will be fun. Alrighty. It is historically accurate that 54 Knights Templars were burned at stake in Paris in May 1310. This occurred during the campaign by King Philip IV of France to destroy the order and seize its wealth. The executions were a direct result of King Philip's effort to prevent Templars from mounting a legal defense of their order before the papal commission. And these were the charges, guys. Heresy, coming from Christians to Christians, idolatry coming from Christians to Christians, and blasphemy coming from Christians to Christians. Okay. I don't know what else to say, guys. This is pretty embarrassing. Let's do one more of the 14th century. This one's gonna leave everyone speechless for like next 1,000 years. Here we go. Yeah, just don't want to go too much into it, but you guys can search it up and look into articles of what Christians did. Here we go. This is 1348 massacres of Jews. And this one's going to tell you about what Jews went through with Christians, okay? All of this is for you to see. Obviously, Google has a revised and kind of filtered version of it, but you'll find out what was done to them by Christians. Okay, let's move on. Let's not make Google jittery. Let's do this. Let's move on to 15th century. Here we go. Alrighty. In 1415, John Huss was arrested at the Council of Constance despite a promise of safe conduct. So there is a council with the highest echelon of Christian scholarship and bishops and deacons, all those people present there, and they promised him a safe conduct. And he was still arrested. He was tried. He had a trial, and he was condemned for heresy after refusing to recant his reformist views. His reformist views, guys, which included the belief that Bible should be ultimate authority in matters of faith. Consequently, he was burned at stake on July the 6th, 1415. He was saying that Bible should be the ultimate authority for the matters of faith, and this was done to him. Okay. Let's move on. Let's move on to the end of 15th century. Here we go. Oh, sorry. Oh, I haven't put the link. Sorry, I wasn't checking the comments. I was in the banner section. Let me put the link to join in comments. Link to join is in the comments. Here we go. Okay. Now, let's do end of 15th century. Let me make sure you guys can see this. So this one reads, in 1492, the Grand Inquisitor played a key role in persuading Ferdinand and Isabella, or if you're Spanish, to issue the Alhambra Decree, which expelled all unconverted Jews from Spain. all unconverted Jews from Spain. The decree was motivated by a desire for religious unity after the completion of this and fears that unconverted Jews might influence Jewish converts to Christianity to revert to Judaism. All right. The expulsion, which resulted in the forced departure or conversion of tens of thousands of Jews, and it ended a millennium long Jewish presence on the Iberian Peninsula, done by the Catholic monarchs. Okay? Forced conversion or departure of tens of thousands of Jews. Whoa. All right, let's move on to 16th century. So far, we have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We just got done 9, guys. 9 or 10, maybe. Long way to go. I'm going to do the last one in the end. The big one. Okay. So you'll know how close-minded Christianity is. All right, let's do this. 1516, Venice established the world's first Jewish ghetto, confining the city's Jewish population to a segregated area on a specific island. The word ghetto is derived from this, likely from the Venetian word ghetto, meaning foundry, as the island originally housed a foundry. Jewish residents were subject to restrictions such as being locked inside the ghetto at night while still being allowed to conduct certain businesses like money lending during the day. Okay? Whoa. Let's do 16th century in detail, actually, just for the sake of it. It's coming to the part of history which we know, right? So more actually, or we feel closer to. All right, this one is again an embarrassment. Embarrassing. So this one reads, it's called the Stockholm Bloodbath. And this is the date mentioned is correct. Approximately 82 to 100 people were executed on Stockholm's main square, known as Stockholm Bloodbath, following King Christian II's coronation in November 1520. The number of distinguished Swedish citizens included 2 bishops, 14 noblemen, 3 burgomasters, 14 town councillors, and around 25 common citizens. All right? And you can look this up. All of this is there, very well documented, and it's embarrassing. Super embarrassing. All right, let's go to this 1520. I think it happened. Not sure. Just a second. All right, let's do this. (1520), just the start of 16th century. On June 15, Pope Leo X issued the papal bull Exsurge Domine, which condemned 41 articles of Martin Luther's teachings as heretical and ordered that all writings containing these errors shall be burned publicly and solemnly. All right. So this is basically anyone in modern day, you can say whoever is doing a secular criticism or textual analysis or modern critical scholarship, all of those things were burned because they were like, how come they dare to speak anything against the church? Is what happened. Now, can you believe that? And imagine then what happened in 325 to people who were at the side of Arius and trying to make their case against Athanasius. That's why people like Eusebius, he signed with Athanasius, and later on he went on and was preaching the same thing like Arius did, even in 340, I think. So there was no democracy back then, guys. If you were against the church or against, especially in the Roman era, it was bad news for you. Bad news. So this is Martin Luther's writings burned. Okay, let's do another one from the Pope and Martin Luther. Here we go. So this was the following year. Here we go. This is Pope Leo X excommunicated Martin Luther in January of 1521 after Luther refused to recant his writings as demanded. We all know what that means. The excommunication was a culmination of a conflict that began with Luther's 95 Theses in 1517. And Luther's public burning of papal bull further escalated the conflict. All right. So this is the highest person in Christian political and religious realm asking someone directly to burn their writings. Imagine. All right. Let's go to 1522. Yeah, I didn't want to get stuck in one century, but sometimes you gotta show them what's up, right? Here we go. So this is the following year, guys, okay? This is 1522. Martin Luther was indeed living secretly at the castle under the pseudonym Junker George after being declared an outlaw by the Edict of Worms in May 1521. His works on New Testament into German, this and that. Just, people were being treated like this just for translating Bibles. William Tyndale, I was going to discuss him in the end, and there was another person. But this is what was happening to people who were even attempting to have any ideas, right? Just, complete control over stuff. All right. Moving on to 1525. So they were doing this to Jewish people for 1200 years up until then. And now come the Muslims in the picture. All right. In 1525, King Charles I of Spain issued an order ordering all remaining Muslims to convert to Christianity. So this is the king of a nation issuing a formal order for Muslims to convert to Christianity, officially ending Islam in Spain. This order followed a period of forced conversions during the revolt of the Brotherhoods in the early 1520s, which the king declared valid. Those who did not convert were essentially forced to assimilate into society as officially Christians. All right, you guys can read about this. Wikipedia has articles about this too, so it's pretty well documented. And then one day we can do about the Africans writing about their forced conversion when Christianity came into the continent. That would be beautiful. Eye-opening. All right, let's do this one. All right, still in the same century, 1545, April. Between hundreds and several thousands of Waldensians were massacred in their village in the Luberon region of Provence, France, on the orders of King Francis I. Thousands of people were massacred. The number of people killed is estimated by some sources to be around 3,000, with many others imprisoned and sent to the galleys. Whew. And it talks about the brutality of massacre, widespread atrocities and looting, and shocked the Europe and this and that. The Calvinist movement, all these things are there for everyone to see. Okay, let's go a year forward to 1546. And if you guys want, we can discuss more about the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th century as well. No problem. Got a lot of material. But just doing the 16th century in depth. Here we go. You guys can see this. So this is 1546. David Beaton, the Archbishop of St. Andrews, burns a leading Protestant, George Wishart. The Archbishop burns a leading Protestant, guys. Okay. This is just bad. Very, very bad. There we go. 1555, England saw the martyrdom of several Protestants under Queen Mary I's reign, with the most famous being Oxford martyrs. People who went to the Oxford, Bishops Hugh Latimer and Nicholas Ridley. They were burned at the stake on October 16, 1555, for refusing to recant their Protestant beliefs, which included opposing the restoration of Roman Catholicism and rejecting beliefs like papal infallibility and transubstantiation. 6 months later, Archbishop Thomas Cranmer was martyred at the same spot. So I want you guys to focus on these. Archbishop, bishops, right here, and Queen Mary for their Protestant beliefs. So apparently, just believing that Jesus came, suffered, died, and resurrected for your sins is not enough in achieving afterlife. There you go. Whew. Let's. You know what? I'm gonna stop in 15th century. Otherwise, people are gonna start crying about stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. Here we go. 1567. This is bad, guys. This is bad. In 1567, the Duke of Alba was sent by King Philip II of Spain to the Netherlands to suppress a growing revolt, punish those responsible for the recent iconoclastic riots. So iconoclasm is from Council of Nicaea II, and the Empress Irene, and all those controversy of not accepting a prior council as ecumenical because some representation was missing, but then labeling Nicaea II as ecumenical council because even though other representation was missing. Anyways, to eliminate Protestant heretics under codes. His actions were part of a wider campaign of the repression and escalated into 80 Years' War or Dutch Revolt. Okay, Duke of Alba, sent by the King Philip II of Spain. Okay, this is super duper embarrassing. Let's do a couple from 16th century and couple from 17th century, and we'll call it a day, because I don't think there's even a single justification for even one of them. Okay, let's do this. Here we go. All right, 1572 is known as Saint Bartholomew's Day Massacre. It was a targeted campaign of assassinations and a wave of Catholic mob violence. Okay, now the violence. You would think it would be against Jews or Muslims, right? Against French Protestants that began in Paris August 24, 1572, triggered by the failed assassination of the Protestant leader, Admiral. And it occurred just days after the marriage of King's sister to the Protestant Henry of Navarre. Okay, the violence in Paris spread to other parts of France, resulting in estimated 5,000 to 30,000 death tolls. All right. Whew. Not looking good, guys. Not looking good. Alrighty. Let's do one more from the 16th century, and then we'll do a couple from 17th century. Here we go. In 1585, religious persecutions and martyrdoms were primarily driven by ongoing conflicts of European wars of religion, most notably England and France, who are waving the flag of, well, not France anymore because of the Muslim suppression of niqab and hijab and everything. But they say, free speech, this is there. We have always been the front leader in this and that, whatever, right? So this is Protestant state church. All right. Roman Catholic recusants carried severe penalties. Executions, this and that, you can read about it. The brutal series of civil wars. Alrighty, let's go into 17th century. 1608 to begin with. This is, I don't know what this is, bro. Just a second. I'm gonna reply to this person on Instagram. And then we do. Okay, sorry. Okay, let's go here. Here we go. First of the 17th, colorful. The Pilgrim Fathers, a group of English religious separates, fled persecution in England and arrived in Holland in 1608, first in Amsterdam, then settling in Leiden in 1609 to seek religious freedom, to practice their religion freely, which was difficult there. And they faced economic hardships, cultural assimilation, political concerns, all of these things. First stop for the pilgrims, you can see this on NASA's website as well. Alrighty, moving on to 1632 and Galileo. Galileo. This. Here we go. In 1632, Galileo published his dialogue concerning the two chiefs' world systems, which argued for a sun-centered heliocentric model of the universe, leading to his 1633 trial by Roman Inquisition. The church, which supported an earth-centered model based on scripture, found Galileo vehemently suspect of heresy for promoting heliocentrism. And they house arrested him for this just because their Bible says something unscientific. Trial and sentencing and this and that. All right. Let's do what almost KGB is based on. Here we go. William Tyndale. Biblical translation can be dangerous, citing as evidence whom she wrote was burned at stake for the heresy of translating the Greek New Testament into English. She reported that today he is known as the father of the English Bible because the sixth king of Scotland, who became the first king of England, King James, with questionable character, his editor took a lot of pieces of William's translation to translate KJV into English. All right, this is what happens when you translate religious scripture into other languages. And this is, 16th century, guys, just 300-400 years from now. Just again. Who's calling me? All right. So let's, I guess, end this here, inshallah. All right, guys, I'm going to end the stream for now, inshallah. We'll talk later. Take good care of yourselves. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما